Hello there, beautiful, and welcome back to The Dark Alchemist. In today's Pick a Card reading, I'm very honored to collaborate together with a star from Sourcelight Star, and together we're going to celebrate the new age of Aquarius, because we are finding ourselves at a very significant astrological juncture right at this time that will influence the next 20 to 30 years. This is one part of a two-part reading. There is no particular order, so while you're here, you might as well watch this part first. And like I said, I'm collaborating with a star, the wonderful and lovely star from Sourcelight Star. And we are focusing on the astronomical events that are happening right at this moment. If you're watching this in the future, don't click off. Let me listen to me for another minute, and then you'll figure out what I'm speaking about here. Pluto is leaving Capricorn for good on November 19th, so on the date where I'm publishing this, and it will enter it will enter Aquarius, where it will stay for the next 20 to 30 years. So we're talking about bringing in a whole new cycle. If you've been around YouTube and spirituality or spiritual content in all its facets for a while, you will have heard other people speaking about the age of Aquarius and how one by one, like lots of different planets are moving into that era, and we're speaking about the new Earth. This two-part reading, I am going to focus on the shadow aspect of reigning in this new energy, this new era, and a star is going to focus on the light aspect. Now, when I'm talking about the shadow aspect, you can think about it like this. There is new energy flowing into your body and into all of your energy bodies. And, this new and fresh energy brings to the surface things that are no longer aligned with you, that are, let's say, contradictory to this new light energy. That can look like thought patterns or even belief systems, behavioral patterns, relationship patterns, all different aspects of your life that are no longer aligned with this new light. Because when you are embodying more of that light energy, that light vibration, it also means that the way in which you are taking care of yourself and moving through the world needs to change and adjust accordingly, so that you can be in this new energy for a longer period of time. To embody that fully, the old sort of gets flushed to the surface. And because we are reigning in such a long, big, new, fresh cycle, I thought let's start with an intention candle. Because 20 to 30 years, that's quite a while. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the candle. We're going to take a couple of deep breaths in and out. And then you can set yourself an intention, or for yourself, for your life, maybe for everyone else who's watching this video alongside you, whether that's now or in the future. And perhaps you want to set an intention for Mother Earth or for all living beings, whatever feels right to you. You can set an intention, and I will light the candle, and later on I'm going to let it burn off, away from the camera. All right, so take a deep breath in and out. Take another deep breath in and out. And take a third deep breath in and out. Now hold your intention in your mind. We're going to light the candle. I'm going to place it there for now. And we're going to see if it's too light and disturbs the camera focus, then I'm just going to move the light a little bit away. All right. So we're going to have 3 piles for today. And I pre-shuffled the deck already, so let's just pull our 3 piles. So my lovely guides, please give me 3 piles for this reading today. Okay, is that 1 or 2? That's 1, 2, and a 3rd pile, please. All right, thank you. The 3rd pile came with 2 cards. I'm not going to show you the 2nd one. Okay, 1. And you know, I also got some crystals for you to choose from today. So I'm going to show you the crystals. And we're going to look at pile number 1. We got the card of the forest. For pile number 2, we got the card of the One. And for pile number 3, we got 2 cards, but I feel like I only need to show you the top one first. It's the card of the Starborn. For pile number 1, we have this lovely piece of moonstone. For pile number 2, we have this piece of citrine. And for pile number 3, we have this piece of celestite. As per usual, I'm going to zoom in for you in a moment so that you can see the cards more closely. Take a couple more deep breaths, ground yourself. I'm going to give you some meditation music for around about a minute or so, and then you can see which pile or maybe piles you feel most drawn to, and you'll find the timestamp in the description box down below. And I'll see you in your selected piles. If you felt drawn to pile number 1 with the forest card and or the lovely moonstone, welcome to your reading. We're going to first of all start pulling a couple more cards, and then I will read our starter message for you from the guidebook. And I feel like pulling 2 topic cards. Like all of my decks right next to me are pre-shuffled. Okay, so what's the topic? What's going on here? What's the topic? 2 cards, please. Okay, we got 2 cards. We got Halls of Learning. And we got the Central Sun. Okay, bottom deck, a serious star blessings with yes, proceed, be seen, and push through. I need to pull 2 process cards. 2 process cards, please. In a second. Whoa. Oh my god. Jupiter at the bottom. Okay, so that one we got 3. Okay, but these 2. Okay, I'm gonna put them there for now. We're gonna look at those in a moment. Don't worry about it. And then let me read from the forest now. I know this seems a little unstructured because it's different to the way that I usually do readings, but I feel like I needed to pull these cards first before I hopped into it. And you know, since my intuition is our guide here, that's what we're gonna go with. So, starter message is the forest. The woods, the thicket, the jungle. Consider for a moment your earliest memory of the forest. It's likely it included all the mythic dynamics of this archetypal space. A little fear, a little enchantment, perhaps losing your way, perhaps discovering a secret mystical treasure. Such is the magic of the forest. It requires first that you enter it, and then that you get lost within it. You may think there is a path to lead you straight through, but soon enough you'll be on what is known as the pathless path. There are tricksters here, dense foliage and entanglement, but equally present are the glimmers of fairy light and friends among the trees. You are on an adventure now, and there is no turning back, so embrace the dim light and the moving shadows, whether literal or imaginal, brave the forest and get lost getting found. We've got when light, magic abounds, childlike wonder, adventure, and when dark, concealment, density, and savagery. Let me see what's written on this side. Oh, okay, this one I need to read. If you get out of the forest without feeling lost, you are only in a little grove of trees. The great archetypal forest requires we spend at least one night frightened for our life. And please don't, being frightened for a life in the context of this doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be in a physical situation where the threat is so big that you are scared. It could also be that you are changing so much that your ego starts acting up and is kind of frightened about the change, like frightened for its life, okay? Just so you know. So you got this. Halls of Learning, Spirit Guides, Confirmation, Great Lessons, the Central Sun, Abundance Downloads, Regeneration, and Success. Let me look at the process cards. We've got the card of Breath. And then we have 2 here. We have the Drowned King. What did I say about the ego death just now? That's the card of the Drowned King. The Drowned King speaks about the ego death. That is the essence of this card. And we have this mixed with copper. And to be more precise, with an oxidized form of copper, right? Because, you know, copper is I actually have copper color on my as nail polish right now, but you know, when copper is not cleaned regularly, it starts to get this patina, right? This oxidization, which is what you see here, this turquoise color, and you know, all you need to do is clean it up and then it starts to shine again. We have these 2 paired together, right, like this. Drowned King and copper. Let me move this up a bit for you to see. Yeah, I think that's good. Let me take a moment and sit with these cards. For you, the main shadow energy that I see emerging right at this moment, you know, the strongest energy that comes through right now is connected to the topic of your identity, about who you are, your role in your life, but the role in society, your role in the community that you're living in, the kind of status that you have. It's like an outside view that people have on you, that that is a big part of your identity. That is the very thing that gets shaken up. That very thing is the shadow that comes to the surface. And I feel like it's coming to the surface because that kind of identity that you have adopted and that you have grown very accustomed to is not something that's coming from within. It's something that has been put on you from the outside world. It's almost like oh, interesting. I just heard you've tried to live life the human way. The human way. We will dive a bit deeper into what that means in a moment, but you've tried to live life according to a specific set of rules within your community that has almost been like hoisted upon you. And in order to survive, you had chosen a specific path to walk on for yourself that was very much in agreement with those community rules. And that's how you built your identity up. Be prepared for that shadow aspect to be completely shaken up, turned upside down. The Drowned King doesn't speak about a voluntary ego shift. I mean, when is an ego shift ever really truly voluntary? Actually, that's not true. Sometimes it is, but it's rare. It's rare. Oftentimes we're pushed to some kind of realization or pushed to some kind of brink, and that's when we're like, right, okay, I think I need to change. I need to change this. And now the forest also makes sense because that's what you're being pushed into. It's the fear that occurs when you no longer know fully who you are, what you're here to do. All of the possibilities that are open to you can feel scary as well, because it's like, which path do I choose? But remember, you are on this kind of pathless path. You're stepping onto this pathless path where around the corner, like around every corner, there's something new for you to discover. Alongside that, there is, of course, the excitement of the freedom to fully rediscover yourself, the freedom to define yourself from the inside out. What I mean by that is you're shedding the identity, or you're shedding the identities that have been put on you from the outside, and it leaves room, like as you're shedding this, it leaves room for you to connect more deeply with your soul essence, with your higher self, and grow and blossom into this new identity that is very, very close to your soul essence. Meaning your job can shift to be more aligned with who you are. Your relationships shift more closely to the kind of energy that you embody. So more people that are more supportive and on a similar wavelength to you. This looks like treating yourself and behaving in such a way that supports who you truly are at your core. This shift that you have gone through, or that you are going through as a result of this new energy coming in, brings me back to the card of the breath, because the breath is the very thing that allows us to have a physical manifestation on this earthly plane. If we're not breathing, we're not in our bodies, we're not present, we're not alive in our physical bodies. So the breath is an absolute key and central point here. You also see when you look at the card, it looks like there is an eye, right? We get the iris, and then we have everything, right? Looks like an eye as well. And I'm also thinking about the first breath. It's almost like you are invited to take your first breath again. It's a complete and utter rebirth that you're looking at throughout this. And we see several images here where we have sort of this light bursting forth, right? We have the light bursting forth from the center here. We have the light bursting forth from the center in this card. And we have the light bursting forth as well in the halls of learning. And we also got the same here with the copper, right? We got the rays, all of the rays that are present here. I'm also being drawn to the grid, the energy grid that's depicted in the central sun here, the earthly grid. Can I get a little more information about that, please? Relocation. Part of the shift and you stepping into who you actually are. Again, like I said, it will be like you're taking your first breath. For the very first time, you're taking your first breath, and it's shedding everything that you feel like you should be doing, everything that you feel like you should be, and just allowing yourself to be who you actually are. I know that sounds very cliche and it sounds very broad, and we will go a little bit deeper in a moment, but that's the essence and that's the magnitude of the shadow that comes to the surface. It's everything that you are not. Everything that you are not is what's coming to the surface. And because this is a collective reading, by definition, it needs to be a bit more broad, but I will pull at least like 3 cards for you in a moment to get a bit deeper and give like three more concrete physical examples of what comes to the surface and what you are not. With the first breath and the rebirth comes this pull for you to create yourself, recreate yourself from the ground up, and to recreate your life again from the ground up. And when I say from the ground up, the things that are leaving your life, for some of you, it can feel a bit harsh, a little bit of a sensation like the rug can be pulled out from under you. That's the feeling that you might have in the moment. For some of you, it's a little more gentle. But overall, there is this feeling of everything gets stripped away and you get to rebuild. And that's scary. Okay, that's scary. I've been through that myself. That is a scary thing to a scary position to find yourself in. And it's very scary to the mind. With this breath card, let the breath be your center. Start doing breath work. More practical guidance for you along the way. Focus on your breath, and breath can be like breath work. You can do breath work to relax. You can do breath work to feel more energy or re-energized. You can also use breath work in a ceremonial measure to connect yourself more deeply with your higher self or source energy, whatever terminology feels right for you. You can also do that. It can take you into depths of relaxation that allow you to connect and hear that aspect of your soul more clearly. So that's an invitation for you. I feel like breath will be something that you will come back to again and again to ground, center, and expand. There's like an expanding factor of the breath. I mean, when you think about it, right, the cycle of the breath, there's the breath in and there's the breath out. There's the flow, the build up, and then there is the release again. And the drawing a parallel right now with the cycle of the breath and your ego or your identity, where there were a couple different cycles in your life where you had built up a specific kind of identity, and then with kind of the exhale, you release that again. And you've been going through a couple of these cycles in your life already. And each time you have gotten a bit closer and a bit closer and a bit closer to who you actually are. And this is sort of like the final stripping point, the final, like, this is it. Coming back to the relocation that I spoke of, I feel like quite a few of you are grid workers in terms of being light workers. Quite a few of you are grid workers. And grid workers, you see that here, right? Sort of like the ley lines, the power lines, the energy lines. As a grid worker, you might feel called to, and you might have experienced that before already, to relocate to a specific place or even to go on vacation to a specific place. Visit a specific place, whether that's in your town, in one town over, in a village, it doesn't really matter, but feeling at some point an undeniable pull to visit one particular area and place on this earth. And when you're there, you feel like you don't really want to necessarily do that much. You're just kind of sitting there, or you're just being there, and that's enough. And what you're doing is, through your energy, the energy that you carry in your body, you are influencing the energy grid that's present on this place, strengthening the energy grid wherever you are. And that's why you feel sometimes pulled to all of these different places without necessarily knowing why. Going forward with this ego shift, you will be more conscious of that kind of grid work, and that part of your soul mission is going to get more amplified for you. And this can play out in lots of different ways, the way in which you are working with that. Because listen, with that grid, yes, it's working on the grid of Mother Earth, so you're protecting and supporting Mother Earth, but your energy field is so strong that it's of course also influencing the energy fields of anyone else who's around you. Right? So there is a healer energy present, but in a very particular kind of way. Helping to regenerate. Regeneration is the core power of your grid worker abilities. It's the regeneration, repairing, strengthening. I'm seeing a kind of like a bone that has been broken, and like your energy is the energy that will set it right and allow it to, with like great speed, to like grow together again and be stronger than it was before. That's the power that you have. With the halls of learning, spirit guides, confirmation, and great lessons. Throughout your journey of these cycles with the ego shift, the build-up, and the release again, you have learned a lot of very important lessons that you will bring forth to other grid workers as well. And your journey has taught you something very significant, and the significance is how to be present on Earth, how to be embodied in a physical human body. That's where it comes back, the part from the beginning. And how to hold the highest frequency of your soul essence while you are incarnated in a physical body on planet Earth, being surrounded by all other humans. Because I'm massively, again, being drawn to the energy that's coming up, that's coming down from, like from the heavens, so to speak. That was your greatest lesson. How to reconnect with your own energy and fully embody your true energy. For quite a few of you, that's also the main your main soul lesson that you signed up to learn in this lifetime, was that how to hold that kind of energy while you're embodied in this dense 3D reality. Like major spiritual awakening vibes. Awakening. The German came through for a second. So I wanted to pull a couple cards for the ego aspects that will leave, right? And with the Forest card, I feel like I didn't really speak too much about the Forest card. This like feeling of being lost and the mystical adventure that you're on. It's a beautiful journey. And I'm also not gonna lie to you, it can be a really tough journey to be on. But do you see how you see everything here is dark, right? And do you see that you're shifting in so much light? All of this light. Okay. Let me pull some cards for the ego here. Let me move these to the side. So which deck should I use? Okay, can I please get 3 cards about the three main identity aspects that are shifting? Main 3 ego topics. And the third one, please. Okay, let me pull these 2. And then the third one, please. Okay. Bottom deck, prosperity. I'm taking this. There is a message coming through for the prosperity already. And I'm actually going to start with the prosperity before we look at any of the other ones. With the abundance, like with you stepping into being a grid worker more consciously, it's like you're able to align yourself with your most powerful energy, feeling limitless, feeling very, very abundant. It's like from a financial standpoint, because we got the card of prosperity here, because you try to do life the human way, with like all of these rules and all of these limitations. It's like quite a few of you have had difficulties with making money and creating a stable foundation for your life. You know, we're talking like really about the like earthly things like food, shelter, clothes, any other sort of amenities that you can think of, like having difficulty with finding your place in the workforce and finding it difficult to make money, and also managing money in a specific way. There's like difficulty connected to that topic. What will happen throughout this shift is that you are allowing yourself to make money make money in such a way that is aligned with your soul essence and aligned with your soul gifts. And that will bring in a lot of abundance and a lot of prosperity. You know, it's a stable foundation for you that you're building as you move forward. And it's all coming because you see like her hand is held up to the sky again, and she pulls it down. It's the same imagery for you, like in several of these cards. And it's being connected to your higher self and allowing that to inform your career choice or your career moves, what you want to do for work, how you can bring more of your energy into this earth. Some of you might even find ways to, I'm going to say, like, monetize your grid working powers. And I heard some of you, I felt some of you cringe, sort of like physically cringe, because I said you were monetizing that. But listen, monetization in and of itself is not a bad thing. Like, making money in and of itself is not a bad thing at all. money never defines who you are. Money only reveals who you are. Someone who has a lot of money, if it has been a good person at their core, or a benevolent person, benevolent energy at their core, suddenly they have a lot more resources to do more good in the world. And if someone had the opposite energy beforehand, then of course, they're not going to make the world a better place. Money itself is neutral. It just amplifies your energy, and it gives you the opportunity, I should say, to amplify your energy even more. And there's something here that will awaken connected to this topic of prosperity. There's something here that will awaken in terms of your work. It's a new avenue. It's the best way I can describe it. There is some kind of new avenue opening up there. Okay, and then I'm going to start here. We got the topic of well-being. Oh, interesting. I already have an idea about this, but I'm going to pull one more card for it. Well-being. Now this needs to go underneath here. Okay. And then we had the topic of home. I spoke about the home already. Right, home came through. And then we had the topic of courage. That was the third one, right? This one needs to go here. So, let me, ouch. I hit my elbow on my table. Let me start speaking about the well-being, and then I'm going to pull some more cards for that one. But with the card of well-being, what I feel very strongly, and with the halls of learning, great lessons, it's like you are redefining what it means for you to be well and to feel well. And there's a shift in terms of, again, like outer status versus how you feel on the inside, and like a shifting and releasing of what kind of things you should have in your life and what kind of people or relationship statuses that you need to have in your life in order to feel well. So we're talking about shedding social conditioning, heavily shedding social conditioning. And it's like there are certain practices that you have engaged in the past and that feed your soul, that make you feel well, but other people look at that and they think it's weird, or they think it's off-putting somehow. And to conform, it's something that you have quieted down, like you've disengaged from those kind of practices, and you will reconnect with those kind of practices and redefine for yourself what it means to be well, to feel well, to live a life that feels good to you. Let me pull one confirmation card, please, for the well-being. Wow. Put yourself out there and you'll be rewarded one way or another with the Three of Wands. And when you look at this card, that's really interesting. When you look at this card here, this witch, she has written a letter to join a specific coven. And, she wanted to join a specific coven, and she felt like the coven was out of her league and she wasn't really eligible for it, but she gave it a shot. Okay, there's no better way to phrase that, but she just gave it a shot, and she wrote that letter of application and sent it out. And what she's actually holding in her hand there is a letter of acceptance, and all of the relief that comes with that, the happiness of being brave, putting yourself out there, and then surprisingly being met with success. Taking the path that is less traveled, or taking a path that feels unconventional to you, a path where you're like, I'm not really sure if I can fully pull this off, but not letting the doubt stop you. And we got the courage here, so I feel like there's a connection. But let me pull one card for the home. I mean, I feel like I already spoke about the home, right? Several times. So that's just confirmation for what I said earlier in your reading about the relocation and moving homes. creating a new home in a way that feels aligned to you. For some of you, I just heard the word downsizing, but I know it's only for some of you. Going back to the stable foundation, there's like a split energy present in the collective of pile one. Like one has achieved quite a bit of status by living life the human way, you know, like the outer thing and like having the house and like stuff like this, and that's get spread away because it feels meaningless to you now. And for some of you, this like stable foundation that comes in, like I said, making the money that will allow you to create a stable home life, right? But overall, I'm getting like minimalism vibes. Okay. Please give me a confirmation card for the home, please. Okay, we got one. Look at you, you're sparkling, you're bursting with sparkly new ideas. Ace of Swords, and this is connected to the mind. I want to pull a second one for this, please. Second card for the home. Okay, thank you. The Hermit. There are some things that must be done on your own. Solitary Witch. And bottom deck energy is Page of Wands. Just because you're passionate about it doesn't mean it will be effortless. This card is like coming back to the move that I spoke of, right? Like the wish to relocate. And it's a divine download, like where you need to go. I already spoke a bit about that in the beginning, but this one specifically speaks about how all of a sudden, like, you will do something very, very mundane, like, I don't know, washing the dishes or cleaning your bathroom, and all of a sudden, you know, it's like your mind is kind of occupied with what you're doing now, and it's not really thinking a lot, and leaves an open space for inspiration to come in, and you will receive that inspiration to move in a specific area or to create your home in a specific way. There's something about that, like relocation or creating, shifting the way in which you live, something around that. And it's a divine download for you to go to a specific place, to move there, to shift, or even to just rearrange your furniture in a specific way. Again, to create your home in a specific way. And it's something that you need to do on your own. It's not connected to other people. It's a very it's a way for you to align your energy and to balance out your energy. And being drawn here to the Hermit because you see she's got a pendulum. Some of you, if you are practicing with a pendulum, you might want to, just for fun, after you get the idea, pull out a map and then do some pendulum work with that as confirmation. I think you'd be surprised what comes out with that, but in any case, the pendulum, you know, like it's swinging, and in this picture, you see that it's perfectly still, like it's dead center. It's the balance of it. This move is for you to balance your energy, to move to a place that's closer, or to again, like change your furniture around in such a way that is more aligned with your energy and allow your energy to flow and be balanced. Okay, and let me pull some cards for courage. Let me move this down here. Let me pull some cards for courage. And please get a confirmation card for courage. I want a second one already. So many. Okay, we're gonna have a quick look at them, but I'm not taking all of them in this one. I'm gonna leave it there. Let me shuffle this one more time for like bottom deck energy. The Empress, there's beauty to be found in every experience. With the courage. Then we have Seven of Pentacles. Nurture what you have and see how it grows and grows. This ego shift, this identity shift requires a lot of courage from you to leave the known behind and shift into something new, into a new way of being, into a new way of moving through the world. And what's important for you is to nurture those new seeds that you have planted and that you are planting continuously. And nurturing them, and now we're coming back to the hermit energy that we saw here, nurturing them by yourself. Take note, I'm not saying without support, but nurturing them by yourself and placing the value, how can I phrase that? It's like you're taking the authority over your life and you decide whether or not something is good for you, and you don't allow other people to decide that for you. So you're the one that decides which seeds you want to nurture and which ones you don't want to nurture. Right? That's why this is a very personal thing. It's like, it's just for you to decide and for you to nurture it and allow it to grow and blossom. Now let's have a look at the other ones that we got here. This one I'm going to look at the end. We got romanticize the present moment every chance you get. We've got light a fire underneath your cauldron and go, go, go. Yeah, that's it. It's like once you receive that that inspiration, that idea to go someplace and do a specific thing, or to shift and rearrange, like be courageous enough to take that step. It's a shifting from in terms of your movement as well, like shifting from being very like driven by your analytical mind and ignoring your intuition a little bit more, towards letting your intuition drive you forward a bit more, and like having the courage to trust yourself and trust your intuition. Live in a constant state of gratitude. And it's interesting here because you see that she's living in a van here, right? And again, we're being guided to alternative methods of living, like alternative home scenarios. Not saying that all of you will move in a van and, like go across your country or visit other countries. That's not what I'm saying. But there is something about moving, like downsizing and moving into an alternative way of living, like eco-friendly way of living. There is something there. Okay. And then we got having 10 of Pentacles. Having it all looks different to everyone. This bridges the gap back towards the well-being. You define what it means to live well for you. And whether that's having 10 cats or 10 dogs or 10 goats or 20, you know what I mean. Having it all looks different to everyone. And then we have, let yourself be continually surprised by this thing called life. And if you've been present with me on this channel for a while, you will recognize that this card has been coming up quite a bit recently. And the message that this card carries is that going forward, you can no longer expect the same cycles to happen and to fulfill. What I mean by that is, when you look at the past, there were certain things happening or people behaving in a specific way, and you could predict what was going to happen next based on the old cycle. And, you've been around the merry-go-round for multiple turns. So your mind has some ideas about what will happen next and how things will progress and move forward. But what this age of Aquarius is doing to each and every one of us is that these cycles are no longer relevant. We don't know what's going to happen. So we need to allow ourselves to be surprised. When we take a specific kind of action, we don't necessarily know, we cannot predict the outcomes just yet. So be open to something new and positive to happen, because in this card, like this witch here has been going after a storm, like walked around the shore and wanted to collect some glass for crafting, right? And this witch thought that they would find maybe like 5 shards of glass or something, but they were surprised because they found the whole cup full. You know, found much more than they were initially anticipating. So allow yourself to be surprised by what's coming. And when your mind brings up the negative scenarios of cycles that you've been through, and, you know, like the mind is expecting things to play out in the same way, take a few deep breaths. And you can even say in your mind that I don't really know what's going to happen next. I'm open to the possibility that things turn out even better than I imagine. You know? And if the mind wants to tell its story, it can tell its story. You don't need to attach any meaning to it. You can just have it kind of like run through your mind like you see a cloud going by in the sky, you know? It's like, it's there, but it doesn't mean anything. It's just an evaluation of, or an anticipation of the future based on past experiences, but it's no longer relevant. And it takes courage to do that. It takes courage to create your own path, and it takes courage to live in such a way that everything... Let me restart that sentence. It takes courage to live your life in such a way that it feels true and authentic to you, particularly when that way clashes or contradicts itself with what is meant as the societal norm. You know, it takes courage to step out of that. So that's it. That's the courage. It's almost like the fear of other people saying things about you and judging you. That's the part of the ego that is dying. Okay, I feel like we've gotten some good messages here, and I want to leave you with a final card. So, my lovely guides, let's pull one final card, one message for pile 1 to invite in the age of Aquarius. So, loneliness. When you stop fearing, interesting how I said feeling. When you stop fearing your aloneness, you stop settling for less than you deserve. May I embrace and love my solitude, and that's when kindred spirits can finally come. I feel like for a large portion of you, this is connected to the shift in home. The shift in home, the hermit energy. Yeah. This is a restart. And when it comes to feeling loneliness, it's okay to feel lonely. It's okay to feel that energy. Hold yourself in those moments, and all of a sudden you will find yourself no longer in loneliness, but in solitude. Because loneliness is feeling the absence of others, and solitude means feeling the presence of yourself. None of us are ever truly alone or lonely, because we always have ourselves. every single day and every single second of our lives, there's always one person with you, and that is you. And what your shadow in this next phase of your life is bringing to the surface is all of the ways in which you have molded yourself and your life to fit in a box so that other people would be present for you. But you see, the thing is, there are so many others like you. And you don't need to contort yourself to fit in with them. There's just one requirement, and it's for you to show up authentically as you are. So when things are crumbling away and when relationships end and relationships shift, it's normal to feel afraid, and it's normal to feel lonely, and it's normal to have thoughts and feelings and worries about never meeting anyone else or never meeting your tribe. Know that this time in between where everything crumbles and you meeting your soul tribe is the space where you cultivate your authentic energy, where you ground yourself in that authentic energy. And going forward, because of the energy that you send out, remember you are that grid worker. That energy that you're sending out, it will draw to you all of the right people. The tribe that is aligned with you. So loneliness is one part of the journey, but it's not the end of the journey, and you need to know that. Okay. So my lovely pile number ones, that was the last channeled message for you. And I feel like showing you the bottom deck. I'm sorry, that's why I got distracted, because I was reading it. Bottom deck energy for you is direction. Remember, we've been speaking about the forest and feeling lost. Lord, please show me the right action right now. Please bring a sign and a miracle that gives a clear direction. May I hear the promptings of my own body. And if for some reason I'm about to head the wrong way, please stop me. I just heard that this little prayer can be your compass through the forest. Whenever you feel lost, you ask to be shown the right action, and you will receive it. To round off this beautiful energy of Age of Aquarius and supporting you and reining that in, I am going to create a 30-minute Reiki treatment, so some energy healing, to support you in this, that you can come back anytime because it's a video. If it's out already, you'll find it in the description box down below and possibly in a pinned comment. And since you've watched The Shadow, hop on over to a Star's channel and listen to his tarot reading about the ways in which you can bring in more of the light energy. It was an absolute honor to read your energy, and I'm wishing you all the best on this journey and this restructuring, this shift. And I hope I see you soon again. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye. If you felt drawn to the one and or the citrine, welcome to your reading, my lovely pile number twos. I'm going to read our little starter message in a moment, but I need to pull a few more cards first to get us started and off the ground. All of the decks that I have right next to me are pre-shuffled already, right? So first we're going to pull 2 topic cards. What is the topic you want to talk about in regards to the shadow? Like, what's going on here? What's going on here? Okay, we have 2 coming out. Bottom deck energy is Lemurian seed codes, embracing sensitivity, uniqueness, and living with grace. I'm gonna see if we need that in a moment. And then we have third eye activation with brow chakra, inner vision, and clear seeing. And we have the Sword of Light, divine protection, cords cut, breakthrough energy. All right, let me pull 2 process cards. Okay, so let's pull 2 process cards for my pile number 2s, please. Number 1 flew out. Interesting enough, that was the card of Pluto, and interesting enough, we got the card of Breath, which came out now as well. We got the card of Pluto. And we have the card of Breath. Bottom deck energy is the card of Blood. All right, so let's start this off by reading your little starter message here with the card of the One. The One, non-duality, one love, unus mundus. Our ability to experience this archetype firsthand is limited. It comes in brief and potent moments that we are left to savor for a lifetime. The One is both the energy that unites all living beings and our capacity to sense this intimate union. This archetype eludes us most of our lives, appearing as a concept in a distant galaxy. Yet when we are in the midst of its power, a solemn reverence falls across all of the land. We glimpse ourselves in the vastness of all consciousness and are neither small nor large within that field. We are neither important nor unimportant. All duality fades away and we are left with what is, the precious knowing that life is a gift, and we are both the giver and the receiver of this fortune. The Unus Mundus is a circle representing the unity of existence. Is it possible that the beginning and the end of all things is love? What do we have here? Oh, interesting. It is said that Om is the primordial sound of the universe and that all other mantras are born from it. Simply imagining this possibility will activate the One. When this energy is light, it shows up as serves, loves, accepts, and resonates. And when it's dark, it shows up as ignores, omits, and excludes. The reason why I said it's interesting that we got this part written on the side with the mantra Om or Aum, depending on your preference or how you've learned it, is because when you're chanting that mantra, it doesn't force you, sorry, let me rephrase that. It allows you to lengthen your breath, right? When you're doing a chanting, there's a rhythm that's happening, a rhythm of breathing that creates a rhythm of chanting. And I already want to say, if you have not worked with chanting beforehand, and particularly with the mantra Om, you are heavily invited to give it a go. You will find lots of guided meditations or guided chanting sessions up on YouTube as well. Give it a go. see how it feels. From my experience, it is a mantra that can help you shift your energy. It's almost like you are a little tuning fork, and by chanting the mantra over a certain period of time, and that doesn't have to be long either, by the way. Okay, we're not talking about sitting there for an hour. Though if you're into that, absolutely go ahead and do that. But even if you do that for just, let's say, like 5 or 10 minutes, you will start to feel the difference, because it helps you shift and mold your vibration and your energy like that tuning fork. You're bringing that energy in. And I feel like I needed to start with that for some reason. What's interesting to me upon seeing the second process card, and after that I will talk about the topic, don't you worry about that a bit more, with the card of Pluto, is that this carries a message about the underworld and being entangled in, how can I phrase that? Or being entangled in the underworld and all that comes with it. We're also talking about the topic of power, feeling powerful, being in power, and moreover, a feeling of losing power, not being in power. This energy also carries all forms of addiction or just overindulgence in all the different ways that you can possibly think of that are connected to this card of Pluto. And it carries with it an energy of amplification. It's this feeling of being the live wire where everything surrounding you is amplified and feels like it's amplified, particularly, again, the shadow aspects or the darker aspects of yourself, of others, of society, of the way that the world is. There is a sensitivity present in you, feeling like you are this live wire that picks up on everything that's going on around you. And again, like I said, the shadow aspects more than anything. And I feel like this is brought about by the third eye activation that we see depicted here. You see there is a bit of a gateway that's present. And it's like when this part of you, or when your third eye opens up more and more, there is a period of time where that sense is highlighted for you, where you are way more sensitive also to just being outside. And what I mean by that is just being more sensitive to light in general with your physical eyes, being more sensitive to light. But there is a period where you see a lot in a very short amount of time, where your third eye is very active. You start to get a lot of downloads. You might even have quite a few visions, however they may present themselves to you. And these visions are connected to the topic of the underworld and oneness, with the underworld as well. And shadow energies that are present currently on planet Earth. There's often this feeling of separation, this feeling of exclusion, like I'm not like them, they are not like me, which creates a lot of conflict. The energy that you are able to tap into are the shadow energies, and you see the illusions of the shadow energies, more importantly. It's this I'm seeing an infinity symbol, like I need to draw an infinity symbol between these two cards. It's like an infinite dance between seeing the shadow aspect, seeing the separation between people, the separation of power, and then flipping the switch, and all of a sudden, beyond that, you see the oneness, you experience the oneness, you experience the importance and the unimportance both at the same time. I think I want to pull one more card for the third eye activation. And I'm going to, I need to take this one. Can I please get one more card for the third eye activation? Thank you. You're not for everyone. Embrace your weirdness. Face your true north. Let me also pull one tarot card for that, actually. I do want to pull one tarot card, and then after that, I'm going to put that tarot card back. One card for the third eye activation, please. Whoa, I asked for one, and we got many. Okay. What's bottom deck? It takes great strength to be soft. Bottom deck energy, so you can see it. Very elegantly held by me. Okay, we got the Hierophant. Tradition is important, but it doesn't have to be everything. And then we have like a whole slew of other cards that we're going to look at in a moment. I feel like leaving it there for now. And then these cards so that you can see that I'm still holding them. It's like you are waking up to the cyclical nature of things. That's like, they're bringing me back to this infinity sign, this infinity symbol. And it's focused on you, but you, through your third eye and through your clear seeing, you will see and notice these patterns that play out on a small scale within you and in your life, within your psyche, your mind, your emotions, etc. You will see the same thing playing out on a much bigger scale, speaking about like seeing it play out in communities, in family units, in nations, in countries, in the entire world. That's like, you see the cyclical nature, particularly again of the shadow aspects. You see the cyclical nature surrounding topics of power and being in power and experiencing a loss of power. And I mean, the topic of addiction that's also connected to the card of Pluto speaks about numbing pain. That's at the center of addiction, is not wanting to feel something specific, so you are engaging with a specific behavior or a specific substance in order to numb out the initial feeling, the initial pain, or anything else that's uncomfortable that's hidden there. It's kind of a plaster, if you will. I could try, like a plaster, if you will. And there's a lot of wisdom coming through your way. At the same time, this really freaks people out. Like, you starting to make these connections, you starting to see all of these connections. It's going to freak out a lot of people in your immediate surroundings because, it's like they're kind of afraid to be seen. They don't really want to be seen. And particularly the shadow aspects are the aspects that each and every one of us, we don't really like to share them with the entire world. We don't have them on a silver platter and show them around to everybody. So it's going to freak out a lot of people, that part of you. And you need to learn how to fully embody that aspect of you. There's something else. There is a fear here present that's coming to the surface right now, connected to the topic of being able to see everything, or being able to, being fully open to your intuition and to your third eye. There is a fear that's coming up to the surface. That is part of the shadow that wants to be addressed from your end, or needs to be addressed from your end when you're stepping forward and you want to embody that more. And it is connected to a topic of, like I said, number one, rejection, right? I spoke about how some people will be really freaked out. There is a fear of rejection present. And that's why you got this card, like, you're not for everyone. Yes, there will be people that will be freaked out by you and by your power. But again, power coming up. But those people who are freaked out by your power are not your kind of people. There are a lot of people who are very comfortable with someone who holds that kind of power, someone who has those kinds of abilities. And there is a shift for you to fully embody that and allow the right people to come your way, to find your way, you know? And I'm sensing that there is like I'm having half of an, I can't even phrase that. It's like a half-baked message that's coming through right now. And I say it's half-baked because I feel like it's not fully decided yet. It's still up in the air. But some of you will have the opportunity to create a new divinatory system. Take that if it resonates and leave if it doesn't. That's, like I said, it's like a half-baked message where it's not fully like it's not decided whether or not that's like on the horizon for you. It's going to depend on the way in which you move forward, you know, like whether or not that door opens for you. And it's interesting because I don't really do a lot of predictions in this way on my channel anyway. Okay, but it needed to come through. Let's have a look at the other ones. We got the Tower. Get ready. Things are about to get shaken up. We got Try to not be so picky with the Four of Cups. We have the Hermit. There are some things that must be done on your own. And we have Knight of Wands. Sometimes you have to be willing to bend the rules a little bit. That's exactly what I was speaking about, like with the new system. It's like, you know, the Hierophant tradition is important, but it doesn't have to be everything. It's like there's a new way of mixing, a new way of creating. And this is like Knight of Wands. Sometimes you have to be willing to bend the rules a little bit. How does that relate to your third eye, though? I think I need to pull one more card. Because I'm not getting a clear message for that right now. That was immediate. I don't know if that was helpful. Card says, I am sorry, defenselessness, riding past wrongs, and uprooting. Okay, so the message is coming together now. I need to sit with it for a little while. So listen, the third eye activation, right? Like third eye opening is connected to several different topics here. The first thing that I want to mention is like this, get ready, things are about to get shaken up. That's the feeling when your third eye opens and you start to see. And it can be a bit overwhelming for you, to be honest with you. In the beginning can be a bit overwhelming, but you know, this like shaking up, what's actually happening is that it will show you the cycles of your own life, you know, before you see the cycles in the world, you see the cycles in your own life. And it's basically with this card, like, I'm sorry, defenseless, riding past wrongs, uprooting. It's that you will see one pattern in your current life that has been going on for a while, and you will get the psychic insight into the other ways in which this has been present throughout your soul journey, meaning getting insights into past lives, other lives, however that resonates with you. But getting insight into all of the ways in which this cycle has been present beforehand, you know, in which this pattern was present beforehand. And particularly what this pattern speaks of is the fear of having your third eye open, like the fear of being fully able to be seen and to fully see, both to be seen and to fully see, and likely connected to a lifetime where the ways in which you wanted to create things or the ways in which you saw things were going against the traditional or against the norm, which created some kind of energetic wound. This is a collective reading, and that's not the main topic of our reading today, to go deeper into that particular area, because I mean, it's also collective reading, right? So that's something, if you wanted to investigate, that's something that you could do, to look at the any past life connections that you might have to being a seer or having your psychic vision open, and any kind of trauma that's connected to that. If you wanted to go deeper, you know, that's one way that you could go. And I feel like, because we've already spent quite a lot of time on that topic, I would like to go ahead a little bit more. To wrap that up, with the Hermit, there are some things that must be done on your own. It's like the first connection to that is something that you will do by yourself. And it's not necessarily even a super conscious effort. It's just something that will bubble up and come to the surface for you. Likely this will show up when you are using your psychic vision, or when you want to connect with it, or you want to share it with someone, and you start to come up against a mental barrier, you know, let's say a kind of fear that feels so intense that you, like a fear of sharing that with others that's so intense, where you feel like you can't really place it, or it doesn't make any logical sense when you look at your life experiences in this lifetime, you know? This kind of like intense panic, almost like life or death kind of feeling. When something like this arises, you know that you've hit exactly that like underworld, third eye activation kind of energy. That's the thing that's brought up from the underworld, from the subconscious to the conscious, for you to be healed, so that you can fully embody being the seer, right? That's why we get the Knight of Wands. Sometimes you have to be willing to bend the rules a little, because whichever kind of rule guidelines, whichever kinds of guidelines that you've learned in those other lifetimes that were connected towards seeing, are not supportive for you going forward. And that's like part of the shadow, is this I see like a couple of lifetimes connected to this topic, and one of them again was like with you being some kind of scholar, and there being a challenging relationship with the authority, because you wanted to go about a different way. Okay, I'm gonna move ahead. Hope that's all right. Okay, let me move this to the side. And then we have the Sword of Light. In this forever dance of embodying more of that oneness energy and being more conscious of that energy, right? I already touched upon how there are some people that will feel a little afraid of your power when it comes to your third eye, right? The Sword of Light speaks about an opportunity to cut away fears, limitations, and energy cords to those things that are no longer resonating with you when you go forward and embody more of that divine light. This usually means that there is a period of time where you are a bit more isolated, or feel a bit more isolated. You know, it's kind of this in-between stage before the new comes in and your new circle forms. And that's what this card speaks of. It speaks about you stepping and being present on your soul path that you chose before incarnating. I could also say Dharma. You are connected to your Dharma. following that. And anything that is not aligned with that comes to the surface to be released, to be cleansed, to be cut away. A big guidance or a big support on this path can be Archangel Michael for you. He's the one that's connected to the Sword of Light. He's a protector for all light workers, all who, work with the light in general. Like you can ask him for assistance. You will even find lots of meditations online, also on YouTube, for him to help you with cutting cords, if that's something that you want to do. But that's connected. That's the second topic that's present in your reading for the Age of Aquarius, is like releasing these fears, releasing these limitations. And remember how I spoke about the breath and the mantra as the tuning fork, right? Like creating a specific kind of rhythm for you to channel more of that light energy through you and to adjust your frequency in such a way. I feel like these two are very important. It's the feeling of I'm feeling incredible for a week, and I feel like I'm on top of my game and I'm on top of the world. And then the next week I feel like I've been pushed deep into the underworld, and there are like lots of old coping mechanisms rearing their ugly heads, and you're like, oh my God, what is going on? Everything's wrong. I was doing so good. And there's a reminder here for you to not worry about it. When you feel these sudden shifts, it's not because you've been doing anything wrong. In fact, you've been doing everything right. And the contrast is so stark because that's the stuff that's brought up from the underworld, from, like underneath the surface to the surface, so that you can heal and release it with whichever method feels good for you. And the breath and the mantra chanting are ways for you to sever that energy cord, which is interesting because that's not something that I've heard before. But you returning to that specific frequency, like I said, with the tuning fork through the meditation, with the breath work and the chanting, particularly the chanting and the breath work, you will raise your frequency. So it's like you are bouncing right back. I would like to pull one more card on that as well. Let me reshuffle these really quickly. Just once is enough for our purposes. Okay, so can I please get one more card for the Sword of Light? Okay, we got the beautiful word that I still don't know how to say. Like I look it up each time and I always forget. Longing for home, homesick for the stars. I know that it's a Welsh word. Longing for home, homesick for the stars. Learning how to embody the frequency of your soul home here on planet Earth. Which is interesting because there was a similar message coming through in pile 1, and pile 1 also had the breath card coming through as one of the two process cards. Okay, let me pull one more. Thank you. Your life is a canvas, artist, manifestation, creative, accountability. There is a call to accept accountability for some of the patterns that kept repeating itself, that like I spoke about the things that are highlighted for you. You will see the past life and other life connections between these things for you as well, not to make you feel guilty or not to make you feel bad, but for you to understand, get an overview, and have the full picture so that you can cleanse and release it. And it's likely connected here to your soul home, to the place where your soul was first incarnated, to that kind of environment. With your life as a canvas, artist, manifestation, creative accountability, it, like, cutting those energy cords allows you to move forward and paint a new picture, start a new cycle. And I do want to go a bit deeper because that sounds very intangible right now. I want to pull three things to cut away, like three shadow aspects that can come up for you to cut away. I would like to continue more in that direction. I think that's good. Yeah, let's do that. Let's place the underworld up here. Which deck should I use? Okay, I need to mix. So can I please get one aspect to cut away, like one of the beliefs? Topic of adventures. Don't you worry, we're gonna pull some more cards for that in a moment. Like, we're gonna pull some tarot cards for clarification. Topic number 2. Got the card of family. And then let's get a topic number 3. Thank you. The topic of compassion. Interesting. It's bottom deck energy, a topic of empowerment. Yeah, feeling like you are in power. And let me immediately move into this. Can I please get some clarification for adventures? What specifically is it? Thank you. Okay, I think that's enough. Bottom deck energy here is, when in doubt, your first gut feeling can always be trusted with, again, the High Priestess. And you know, the High Priestess, that's the most psychic energy that's like present in the tarot deck. The High Priestess. We got 3 cards like this. Stop overthinking and just do it. Okay. We got Temperance, let go of self-imposed limitations. Five of Pentacles, nothing is as hopeless as it seems. You see, got the safe haven here that's pointing towards the house, towards the home. Let me move it a little bit for now. One aspect of this cord cutting is focusing on your emotional energy, and particularly emotional energy and energy cords to some others. I say that because here with the cards, you see that there's the waterfall that's flowing down, and the waterfall is a representation of the emotional energy, right? Water, emotions. And you see that this is coming like full force. And what I find interesting is there's this parrot, right? And this parrot is a part of the flock, but like the entire flock is flying and the parrot is not. And the parrot is sitting right in front of this like waterfall. And I feel like you've been clearing and cleansing some emotional energy for people around you, you know, so that they come to you and like vent or share, and then they feel better and they leave and you end up feeling worse. That kind of energy. that's present here, and you're being asked to, as you move forward, cut those energy cords. And when I say cut those energy cords, it doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're cutting every single one of these people out of your life, though likely there's some kind of adjustment to the way in which you are conducting that kind of relationship, setting some boundaries. But I'm speaking very, very clearly to cutting the energetic cord so that they can no longer siphon that energy through you. Again, there are meditations that you can do. If you want to go to someone professional who does that kind of work, you can, of course, also do that. Whatever feels right for you is the right way to do. But I do feel like there's something that has been weighing you down heavily to the point where you can't really take off and you can't really fly. It's like the culmination of all of these energies of the people around you and the energies around you, like from this life, from other lives, is like that's the thing that's weighing you down going forward. Or that's the thing that going forward, but that's the thing that has been weighing you down and preventing you from fully going forward. Right, and that's the shadow energy, or that kind of shadow aspect of your energy that is asking to be cut and to be released. Is all of that emotional burden connected to that topic? We got here 8 of Swords. Stop overthinking and just do it. What's written on her hand? Deadline today. It says deadline today. Yeah, that's exactly that kind of feeling. It's like your energy being so clouded with the emotional turmoil from other people that it makes it really difficult for you to hear your own voice, to feel your own feelings, and to move forward accordingly. It's like no wonder you're tired. No wonder you feel like you can't make the deadline, so to speak. No wonder you feel like you have a certain block towards moving forward, because there's all of this energy interference happening with you that makes it difficult to move ahead and feel free and feel light. When you see here, when you look at the Temperance card, is a very peaceful kind of energy that's present here, right? Like this witch is sitting there having their coffee or having their tea. All of the plants are thriving, and this is a card of balance, of having a balanced approach, of having time to work and get things done, but also having a time to rest and relax. And part of this cord cutting, that again, this very literal thing, part of that also means creating a structure for yourself where, yes, you can hold some space for other people, of course, but also recognizing that you also need time for yourself to rest, to nourish yourself, to relax. It's difficult to focus on something and to try and create something when your cups are so empty. You see these 2 cups, coffee cups here are empty, and you see it's full again. And 5 of Pentacles, nothing is as hopeless as it seems, with a safe haven and feeling like you're left out in the cold. The more you're focusing on filling your own cup and creating this balance inside of yourself, again, like the cord cutting, creating the balance within yourself, the easier it is then to find that kind of balance in other people and draw more people with that kind of balanced state to you as well. Let me pull some cards for compassion. I think I want to leave these there. For compassion. Let me actually let me leave those out. Can I please get a clarification for compassion? Okay, I see we got a lot of cards coming out here. And already I want to say that this is connected to the card of adventures and the emotional energy, the emotional overflow that's it's not really an overflow. It's like I'm getting half an image. Let me take a moment to see. Okay, now I got it. It's like your filtration system, and there are lots of other people plugged into you as their own filtration system when they themselves should be their own filtration systems, and you're filtering all of this like gunk, all of this emotional energy, like through your own system. That's it. And with the compassion, that's why it's coming up a bit as a shadow energy here, which I find interesting, is because there has been some hesitancy from your part or from your end to put up more boundaries because you feel so compassionate and because you feel the pain from other people so very deeply that you've allowed them to be the filtration system for others. And when I say that, I'm not judging, and I'm not saying that as you should not have done that. Okay, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that this has been something that you have done, and now as you move forward, being that filtration system for other people is no longer supporting you in the right way, which also means it's no longer supporting them in the right way because they need to learn to do that for themselves. And you're taking that compassion that you have for the world and every living being into a new direction, right? So when I say cutting cords, I'm not saying that you're cutting the cords to your compassion and you're no longer connected to your compassion. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I am saying that the compassion that you send out to the world, you're being called to cut limiting beliefs surrounding self-compassion and giving yourself self-compassion. It's almost like you've put yourself at the very bottom of the list. And you've been compassionate with everyone else and everything else in the entire universe, and you yourself come at last place. But listen, if your best friend would tell you that they are the filtration system for lots of other people, beings, energies, whatever, surrounding them, and like they feel horrible as a result of that, what would be the compassionate choice to make? Would the compassionate choice to make be to continue being that filtration system, or would the compassionate choice be being also compassionate with yourself and setting those boundaries and letting other people know that, hey, okay, you can do that for yourself. You're more than capable to do that for yourself, because we all are. And then, being compassionate with yourself. In essence, like when you fill your own cup that way, right? Like when you are in this balanced energy, it's easier then as well to act compassionately to the rest of the world and to take actions to improve the rest of the world in whichever way that you see fit, in whichever way resonates. And, it's not always like making the world a better place. When we hear that, we like to think of the biggest moves of, creating a new nonprofit or whatever else may come to your mind. And those are ways to improve the world, but we're also improving the world in all of the smaller ways. When we are smiling at the next person at the grocery store, or, we see that someone is stressed at their work. Perhaps you're at a coffee shop and the barista is super stressed and had a few like awful customers and is stressed out, and you allow them to take their time with your order or something like this. It's like all of the smaller aspects, the smaller acts of compassion that in turn will light up the world. And let me have a look at the cards that we got. We got 8 of Wands, light a fire underneath your cauldron, and go, go, go. We have Ace of Pentacles. Wow, what an abundant opportunity. Romanticize the present moment every chance you get. We got 6 of Swords, all aboard which it's time to write a new chapter. And we got having it all looks different to everyone with the 10 of Pentacles. Let me move these out here so that you can actually try and see them. Let me move this a bit. One thing I want to mention first and foremost is, remember how I spoke about the filtration system, the emotions, and all of the energies that are flying here, right? Like the flock that's flying and the one person that's kind of like stuck there and feeling heavy. When you cleared that, or when you cut those energy cords and you practice more self-compassion, you see here there's a new tribe coming together. There's like a coven coming together, and you see how every single one of these energies is in motion, and they're all moving with the same goal in mind. They're all moving in the same direction with the same intention and the same kind of intensity. It's like there's a tribe coming together to create something new for the world on a bigger scale. Is that a bigger scale? Okay, I just heard no, it's not a bigger scale. But anyway, like a tribe coming together, a coven coming together to practice the kind of compassion that I spoke of, because it's like it's people that take care of their own emotional health coming together. Then there's a sharing, of course, but because each of them is taking care of filling up their own cup, there is a collective energy present there that will support this act of being compassionate towards others. But that's the thing. It's like each person is healthy. Each person is an autonomous person, autonomous in their emotional health and their well-being, in the way in which they take care of themselves. You know, it's a very different way of moving, a very different way of interaction, which in turn also relates back, again, to the relationships that we spoke of, the self-compassion. And that is where you find the biggest abundance for you going forward as well, is in filling up your own cup. That rhymed. In filling up your own cup, taking care of yourself, because you will notice that all of the energies that you're taking on from the other people, all of them falling away, you start having a lot more energy and feeling a lot more energized, feeling a lot more capable, you know, feeling like you can actually make the changes that you wish to see in the world. You can be the change that you wish to see in the world. And part of that is your emotional well-being. You see here the Knight of Cups. That's a big shift in energy that we see from that kind of filtration system to the Knight of Cups, you know, who has got their emotional strength quite together, right? Romanticizing the present moment every chance you get. And you see here that this person is at the beach because they want to be at the beach by themselves. They got a little journal here, it says poetry. They got their favorite drink, and, you know, they collected some seashells, and they're just a little lost in the beautiful present moment that they are in. And then Six of Swords, all aboard which it's time to write a new chapter. That's exactly it. You are writing a new chapter. You are writing a new chapter by taking care of yourself. Because again, like the coven, new energies coming together, new relationship structures. Everything is new under that lens. And then we have the Ten of Pentacles. Having it all looks different to everyone. I feel like it's not time to talk about the Ten of Pentacles yet. I want to pull a few more cards on your family first before I move ahead and speak about the Ten of Pentacles. I'm going to put that one to the beginning. All right. Now please get some cards for the family energy. Got the card of the World. What about... That's too many. What about the card? What about the limitations or the cords that need to be cut when it comes to family? Let's get some clarification for that. Got like one card. Where is it? Let's see here. Okay, wow. I'm gonna start with the last one that came out, actually. We're gonna start with the number 15. I need to drink a cup of tea. Okay. So we got the toxic witches as an energy that describes the family patterns. Be cautious of those who take more than they give. Again, we are talking about the filled cup and the empty cup, right? Her cup is empty. You see that, right? Two are filled, one is empty. It's oh, okay, I see it. The red thread in the reading now. It sounds like I didn't see it before, but hear me out. What they're highlighting right now, remember how I spoke about the third eye activation and the infinity symbol, about how you see the cycles that were present in this life or in your life, and you see them in a larger and larger scale, and you see them in other lives connecting, etc. This pattern of you being this emotional filtration system for other people is not new, okay? It has been present in your family system where you've been assigned the same role or you've been doing the same, but this has its roots in other lifetimes. You have been doing that kind of or engaging in that kind of pattern also in other lifetimes, and that's like a big pattern that will be highlighted for you going forward. So you got, be cautious of those who take more than they give. And then we had the world. Yeah, you did it. Now do something to celebrate a job well done. You see the butterflies there, the symbol of the metamorphosis that is complete. And you see how we're moving from 3 people to 1 person being present. And then we have the Queen of Wands. Replace your self-doubt with self-confidence. This almost looks like it's not the same dress, but it's close to being the same dress. And then we have 6 of Wands. You're kind of a big deal, so start acting like it. And you see how the people there are celebrating this person right here. You know, like moving from this feeling of being isolated in that emotional environment or being isolated in that environment and moving into an energy that feels good. Like you can be yourself. Right, the self-confidence. The World card is a card of completion. So that cycle with the filtration system and spending time or spending energy on those who take more than they give, like, you know, that cycle is closing out, it's ending. Connected also to your family line, that kind of pattern you will see. I don't need to go into detail, like, you know, that's for you to figure out how that resonates exactly, and where you see those kind of patterns in your family. But we got that's completed. Now you can do something to celebrate a job well done. Move forward in confidence. And what will happen, the new tribe who actually celebrates you will come in. You know, the ones that are filling your cup as well. And then we're bringing it back to the 10 of Pentacles. Having it all looks different to everyone. And that's just it. Like, having it all looks different to everyone. You are creating your own set of rules of the things that you want in your life, how that should look like, how you want to feel in your relationships as well. What kind of energies you want to have around you. You are creating that for yourself, and you're allowing the third eye to guide that vision for you. And I feel like only pulling one final card for you, because I feel like we bridged the gap and we've talked about 3 specific patterns to look out for, 3 specific patterns of the shadow that want to be addressed, that want to be released. So let's pull one closing card for our pile number 2s, please. A little message to guide them as they are inviting the age of Aquarius and the new earth energy. You got 3 cards. All right, we got 3. We got 1. Says, number 1 says, feelings, emotions want to be felt. You really can't surrender something until you deeply feel it. Allow me, dear divine, to offer all emotions to you, feeling them fully so they no longer hold me captive. Yeah, emotions want to be felt. And you know, because you've been feeling the emotions from everybody. We got challenges, unbearable situations throw you directly into God's arms if you are open. Please take over divine and guide the right actions. Please take this burden and show me your will. And then we have companionship. When you fully bless and embrace your aloneness, you're ready for the ones who are meant to be with you. May I welcome the solitude, knowing it will open its way for all the healthy relationships. May I welcome the solitude, knowing it will open the way for all healthy relationships. And I don't think I showed you the feelings cards, so you can see it if you want. You can also, of course, take a screenshot. All right. Those are your messages. Be sure to hop on over on a Star's channel and check out his part of the reading, where he shares about the light aspects of the age of Aquarius and how you can invite in more light. To support you on this journey and to shed some of those energies, I'm going to create a Reiki healing, an Usui Reiki healing, probably uploading sometime this week. Fingers crossed. If it's out already, you'll find it in the pinned comment down below and the description box. And that is all I have for you. Thank you for allowing me to read your energy. It was very, very interesting to hear about this filtration system and everything else that's going on. And I wish you the best of luck and the most amount of light on this journey as possible for you. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I hope I see you soon again. Bye. If you felt drawn to the Starborn card and or the Celestine, welcome to your reading, my lovely pal number 3s. I'm going to read our little starter message from the guidebook in a moment. But first let me show you the second card, because remember when I pulled yours, there are 2 coming out. And we got the Starborn coming out with the heart. I just heard the words like heart frequency. Okay, we're gonna see how that plays out, but first I'm gonna pull a couple extra cards to get us started. All of the decks that I have right next to me are pre-shuffled already. So first, I would like to pull 2 topic cards for you. 2 topic cards for my pal number 3s. 1 topic card for my pal number 3s, please. Topic cards, pal number 3s. 1 more, please. 1. Thank you. Bottom deck energies, Arcturian light codes with evolutionary downloads, recalling power, and future thinking. I'm gonna put a pin in this. Maybe we'll need it, maybe we won't. But it's off to the side. We got halls of learning, spirit guides, confirmation, and great lessons. I'm being, first and foremost, I'm being drawn to the mirror that you see here, you know, like the floor mirroring the ceiling. Let's see how that plays out. And then we have Temple of Truth, Throat Chakra, Authenticity, and Self-Expression. Okay, and let me pull 2 process cards for you. So please give me 2 process cards for pile number 3s. 2 process cards, please. And the second one. Thank you so much. Jupiter. It's our bottom deck energy here. We got the yellowing. Okay. And we have, wow, the card of Pluto. I say wow because I shuffle and like cleanse my decks between each pile, and today we have like, there's a red thread going through the piles, you know what I mean? They're like different, same cards coming out for different piles. So that's really interesting to me. Okay, let's read from the guidebook. Let's read the Starborn as our little introduction. I've got the Starborn here for you. You hold it up so you can see the card. The Starborn, the divine child, the star child, the destined. An elusive yet radiant aspect of the self, the Starborn archetype points to the cosmic spark of light that arrives with each being at birth. The moment the newborn crowns, whether vaginally or surgically, the royal stars above are set to constellate in a unique shape that maps her path in the world. The idea of destiny is controversial, yet the Starborn naturally feels a sense of destination and purpose, aiming itself toward a future that is beyond the mundane. When this card appears, travel back to your birth story for clues and insight. What did you desire when you were young? Practice seeing your life from a mythic point of view rather than as a series of logistics. Read the story of the 3 fates and envision yourself born under the stars with a unique destiny. When this card appears, don't be surprised if you receive a search or desire for a long-lost dream, one you haven't visited since childhood. Let this desire shake you up. And then we have here, have your chart read, study your constellated shape, ask questions. What does the process conjure in you? Faith or mistrust? What would happen if you saw the galaxy as your ally? And when this energy is light, it shows up as being light, trusting, vibrant, and aimed. And when it's dark, it shows up as a feeling of misalignment and a loss of longing. We have this paired with the heart energy. you know what my guides are sending me right now. Sometimes I can't with them. I hear inside of my head the beginning of like, you know, when Shaggy sings like Mr. Lover Lover, that beginning part. I hear that little snippet in my head like over and over again as I'm looking at the heart card. It's so funny. The heart centered frequency was what I was meditating on, and so if you want to, you can of course go ahead and listen to that song. But I feel like this is speaking about, remember this, but the Starborn just spoke about the dreams that you had when you were a child, but I feel like it goes beyond you being a child. It feels like a dream that you've had in another incarnation or in another lifetime, in another place. And it was a place where everyone was living in a more heart-centered way, where love energy or love frequency is the norm. So we're speaking about a place that was not on planet Earth, but some other place. You know, I mean, the Starborn, I'm feel like most of you are aware of that, but you are a starseed. So your origin is not on planet Earth, but on some other place in the galaxy or universes, right? So there is part of your life there where you have learned how to fully live in a heart-centered way, where you were channeling the heart frequency primarily. And what does that look like when we're talking about a society? It speaks about a society where all beings are compassionate, where there is abundance shared freely all around, where people are seen, or energies are seen, beings are seen, felt, and held, and everyone can thrive. You know, it's a very, very high vibrational kind of energy, very pure kind of energy that's coming through from that area. And what you are being moved into going forward, right, with this Age of Aquarius, is to learn how to embody that frequency. You see, there's the egg and it's hatching, how to embody that heart-centered frequency while you are on planet Earth to the best of your abilities. That's the main thing. Now we got the 2 topic cards and how that plays out, or how that has and will show up. And we got the 2 process card, like how do you get there, basically, or like what's going on that will bridge this kind of gap. We got the Halls of Learning, the Spirit Guides, Confirmation, Great Lessons, and we got the Mirroring, right? I was heavily drawn to the mirroring that's present in this card here. There is an inspiration for you to pull that kind of energy, that kind of, because you see, we got a building here. It's a structure, right? It's a structure with a lot of integrity, so that it can, that the weight of this building can be held by all of these. I forgot the word for these. You know what I mean. I'm too lazy to look it up right now. For all of these little structures here that are holding it in place. I know all of the terms for this in German, but for English they can't come to my mind right now. German would be Rundbogen. Anyway, doesn't really matter. The way in which this building is structured, right? Then there's a lot of structural integrity present, so that it can hold place for all of these more decorative elements in play, and to keep up a certain specific height to this building as well. And I feel like part of your process here is to create a blueprint, on fully embodying that heart-centered energy, and creating life on Earth from that kind of place. And that's why I see like the blueprint, like creating structures in our society that are mirroring this kind of heart-centered way of living that you saw. You know, that's why we have the little mirror image down here. It's like you're mirroring parts of the structure that you have experienced in other lifetime. That's why we got like halls of learning, great lessons. It's like you've already learned these lessons, and now it's about implementing them, bringing them down, and teaching humanity how to build from that kind of place. With that kind of learning, or that kind of heart-centered frequency, that kind of heart-centered energy, of course, also comes the shadow side, or the darker aspect of that kind of energy. You know, when you are learning how to be present in a heart-centered energy and move from heart-centered energy, you will, because we are living on planet Earth, you will experience the polar opposite of the heart-centered energy. And that would be people moving from greed, people moving from a non-authentic place, from a place of hurt people, hurt other people. That kind of energy, like all of these shadow energies that are connected to this topic. Yeah, like I said, like greed, jealousy, envy, we've got fear, feeling of lack as well. Like these kind of energies you have been feeling in your life already, you know, like you've moved through them already, and you will start to see that surface more and more in other people around you, in the world at large around you as well. You know, there's kind of like Pluto energy, this kind of like underworld energy bubbling up to the surface. But since you've already, in other lifetimes, like you've already been doing that kind of work of shifting through those kinds of energies, you have a very special kind of wisdom that can come through and that you can bring forth to support everyone else around you in whichever capacity you feel called to do. You know, like expressing yourself in whichever way you feel called to do, to help them shift that kind of energy, move through that kind of energy so that they themselves can create the structure of moving and living in from a heart-centered frequency going forward, and creating communities from that place as well. I would like to know, how does this energy relate to your personal shadow energy? Let me give you a little ASMR because I need a bit of more tea. I guess without showing you, it sounds like I'm peeing. I'm so sorry about that. I wanted to show you, but it doesn't look any better. It's with orange and turmeric and ginger and a little bit of sage. Okay, I wanted to know, how does this relate to your personal energy, like that kind of shadow aspect? How does that show up as your personal? And that's not the right deck for it. I need this one. How does this show up as your personal shadow energy? Okay. Wasn't there another one that just flipped? No, it didn't. And I also need to pull one more card from here. Oh, okay. Okay, clarification. And we got the flame underneath. I just heard like a moth to a flame. Like a moth to a flame. And you got the card of adventures. And you got the card of the river. Now that's really interesting. You see, the adventures card came out in the previous pile. And I talked at length about the meaning of the shadow energy that's present here in the adventures card, because you can ignore basically what's written underneath, because what was coming through was the cleansing power that's represented through this waterfall. It speaks about the emotional energy and how there is this one person. You see, like, all of the flock here is flying, and there's one parrot that's sitting there that's unable to move, and the water is right behind. And there was a message coming through that you have been a filtration system, an emotional filtration system for the people and energies around you, where you've been taking on all of their heaviness and you've been filtering them through your own system, you know, by feeling the emotions, etc. And they've in turn felt a lot lighter, and you felt more and more heavy. That's what this card speaks of, and I find it interesting because the river is also an energy of ritual, and it's an energy of healing and cleansing, right? The river is also in constant motion. This also speaks about being on a journey of transformation, where at first you thought you would go maybe 100 meters down the river, and the river ends up taking you like 5 kilometers away. You know, it's like you never really know what you're signing up for when it comes to the river and like the cleansing powers, the transformation powers. How does this relate? Let me place them here for now. How does this relate to the shadow energy here? Okay, I just heard a lot of pain, like a lot of pain when it comes to your relationship with other people in this lifetime and in other lifetimes, but a lot of pain that's connected to interpersonal relationships, where there is a feeling of I deserve to be loved only when I'm useful to others. That's a kind of limiting belief that's coming through. or kind of it's a limiting belief, and simultaneously it's a conclusion that you've drawn subconsciously from your relationships with other people. I am only worthy of being loved if I'm useful to others. And useful is like, this kind of filtering of the energy, like helping other people transform and transmute and bringing them with like all of your might into something new, like guiding them into something new. And you see that there's more water present here with the Temple of Truth, right? The throat chakra, authenticity, and self-expression. There's a second shadow aspect that's coming through with the Adventures card, where it's like you've observed the other people around you moving in a way that was not heart-centered, or moving in a way that is not heart-centered, and feeling the dissonance that it causes and seeing the dissonance that it causes in their lives and in their own emotional states, meaning they're not happy themselves, but they keep going and going because that's the way that everyone else is moving, that's the way that everyone else is going. And you've observed that, and that has caused you a lot of pain because for you, it feels very natural to be connected to your heart center, to feel so very deeply, and to have your heart as this guiding compass in your life. And this hasn't been the case for everyone else. People are more shut off or cut off from that kind of heart-centered energy. And as a result of that, like your relationships to other people have suffered. But that's where part of the shadow comes through, where it's like you expect other people, and I say that as a subconscious thing, okay? It's not a conscious thing, but as a subconscious thing, like you've expected other people to shift into a heart-centered frequency as easy as you do. And simultaneously, there is some of the childlike innocence coming through where because you show up with that kind of energy, you've expected everyone else to show up with the same kind of energy. So there's like a lot of pain connected to those experiences of disconnection where you had to realize that other people don't show up from this heart-centered energy, and that something else is going on there, something more twisted, something darker, and that's part of the shadow where you are almost expecting other people to show up in a similar manner going forward. That part of your shadow is asking for emotional healing. Let me write it down. I'm going to leave a resource in the description box down below for you, okay? It's a meditation, a sleep meditation for emotional healing. It's a really, really powerful one. I've done that one for years. Like, give it a try, see how it goes for you, how you feel, and you can, when you lay down and you put it on before you go to sleep, you can set the intention that that's the aspect that you want to heal, the pain and grief and all of the confusion connected to the interpersonal relationships with other people. Yeah. That's a transformative aspect. Like, like I said, the moth to a flame, where all of these energies were drawn to you because of your heart-centered energy, because at our core, that's what we all want to be. That's what we all want to connect with more. And when I say that's what we want to be, I'm not saying that they want to be like you or they want to be you. That's not what I'm saying. It's just that this kind of heart-centered energy or frequency feels like home to all of us, because it's unconditional love. It's an unconditionally loving energy. So anytime someone embodies that, people are drawn to it. And most specifically, people who are quite disconnected from that energy in themselves will come to you and have come to you like this moth to a flame. That's why we got this kind of filtration system here that I touched upon. It's like they're coming to you to provide that for them, because they feel like they haven't learned yet how to do that for themselves. you know? And that's where we got the river with the transformation, like taking yourself and others like much farther than anyone would have anticipated beforehand. I do want to pull some cards for the Temple of Truth with the throat chakra, the authenticity, and the self-expression. So which deck should I use? They just said Starseed. Okay. Immediately, 2 cards flew out. I couldn't even ask my question. Kind of rude, right? We got bottom deck, Star Ancestors, Hidden Secrets, Lost Wisdom, Look a Little Deeper. What did I speak about? Like pulling this ancient wisdom, or pulling that wisdom that you have from other lifetimes where everything was built on the foundation of heart-centered frequency, bringing that to our present world. That's what this card speaks of. I'm going to pull that there. I'm going to leave that there for now. And then we have Your Life is a Canvas Artist, Creative Accountability and Manifestation. And we have The Seeds of Mintaka, Seeing Potential and Bringing Unconsciousness to Light. And you see the clear seas here. So much water energy present for you. The Temple of Truth card speaks about the throat chakra. You know, this speaks about how there is something very deep within you that you have not allowed yourself to fully express. That's the shadow that this card carries. Whereas, you know, the water is free flowing, it's free, feeling free to express yourself fully. And it's also connected to this phrasing of, or the saying that the truth hurts. And this card speaks about how the truth heals rather than hurts. You know, the truth heals, the truth sets free. So there is something underneath the surface that you have not allowed yourself to express. Whether that's something from this lifetime or from other lifetimes at the present moment, I do not know. It could also be both, a combination of the two. But there's a shadow energy connected to the throat chakra that you can address, that you can work on, investigate. You know, doing meditations on the throat chakra, for example, to open the throat chakra can be very beneficial for you. You'll find lots of these online as well. And anything else that, you know, working with manifestations. And I wanted to say, interesting, I said manifestations because I wanted to say with affirmations. Working with manifestations connected to fully showing up as your true self and expressing your truth, living your truth. I'm going to leave that channeled little message there for you. We got Your Life as a Canvas Artist, Manifestation, and Creative Accountability. This unexpressed congestion in the throat chakra, you know, this like, that part that I just spoke of has been steering and guiding your manifestations in a very particular direction, and you haven't really, it's not necessarily where you want to go, you know, it's like, it feels almost like this is where you've been taken and you don't really know why this has happened or why certain things played out the way that they did. It goes back to the unexpressed part of you. It goes back to the unexpressed pain that's connected to the throat chakra that wants to be brought up to the surface, felt, expressed in whichever way is appropriate, and just properly processed so that you are free of that energy. You know, the way that you can think about it right now is that it's almost like a rusty nail that's lodged somewhere in your energy body, and it's sending out a specific energy, specific frequency into your energy field, and that rusty nail sort of distorts the entire frequency that you have going on, that you're sending out. You know, and that creates these kind of manifestations where you were asking yourself, like, why is this happening? What's going on there? That's where that's connected to. And that's why we got seeing potential, bringing unconsciousness to light, like it's underneath the surface. You don't know about it. Let me see if I can pull maybe a few cards to point you in the right direction. Because I feel like that's a part of self-discovery that needs to stay as a part of self-discovery, you know? It's not like it's not great to always hear everything from someone else. Sometimes it's good to go into those places ourselves and figure it out along the way. You know, it's part of the growth, part of the journey. But let me give you a few pointers. Okay, that's not the right deck that I have in my hand. I'm gonna pull one from here. Yes. What is this unexpressed bit in the throat chakra? Okay, I got a topic of prosperity coming through. I'm gonna pull this card as this deck as well. Can I please get a pointer for this like pain? Okay, need to take both apparently. And then I'm gonna pull some tarot cards in a moment to show you. We got the card of prosperity. We got the card of happiness. We got the card of openness. Openness came out first, so I'm gonna keep it like that. This one I'm gonna move to the side for now. Let me move this as well to make more space. We got openness and happiness. Let me move these. My setups have been more organized in the past. It is what it is, you know? It's chaotic, birth is chaotic, so kind of fits, right? I feel like one aspect that you could look at, and you know, I'm just touching on one aspect, could be hiding yourself away from the people around you, or more specifically, like hiding your ideas, hiding the way that you think to a certain degree, and not fully understanding that part, that, you know, like keeping things under wrap, that part has created this mismatch in frequency. Remember we spoke about the flock that's there and it's kind of not really matching in that way? It's like releasing that or healing the wound that's at the core of this topic of like hiding your ideas away. And I'm sure that there has been like a very valid and important reason for you for this wound to be born, or for this wound to be created, you know, like some kind of pain, some kind of hurt that's at the core of it. The reason that I'm saying that is because I don't want you to feel bad about it. Like it's normal, you know, that kind of, we're all experiencing different kinds of traumas and make all of these conclusions when we're experiencing that about ourselves and what it means about our place in the world and how we can show up as, or who we can show up as, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, etc. So there's no judgment coming from me here at all. At the core, there is this wound connected to these relationships with other people and not fully expressing your ideas and putting that under wraps, and as a result of that, not fully realizing all of the prosperity and abundance and happiness that can show up when you allow yourself to be open, when you allow yourself to be seen. There is a wound connected to that topic. I want to pull like, you see that? That was our intention candle that I left on. I took some breaks between the readings, so you know it was bound to happen that our candle goes out. But let me just, the remainder of the video, let me take a new one in. And I knew going into this reading that the timing of that candle going out would be significant, because I knew it was going to go out during your reading at some point, right? And it just went out. I spoke about the flame like a moth to a flame. Okay, so that's what happened. You had, is it this life or other lives? Okay, I just heard both. This life and other lives, where you have expressed your ideas and your knowledge, let's say your divine knowledge, right? Your starseed knowledge, like the way in which you see yourself, your energy, or the souls that incarnate on Earth, like any of those kind of topics, you've expressed your truth, and as a result of that, you have been like your flame has been put out to different degrees. We're talking about social rejection, but we're also talking about more severe punishment, which potentially could lead all the way to losing your life over this in like other lifetimes, for example. Like it's a very, very deep-seated kind of pain that's connected to that. And remember, we had with the Sea of Mintaka, we had the unconsciousness, the unconscious pain that's connected. You see, there's more water present in the happiness card. I feel like the origin or the brunt of this pain is connected to another life, like at least one other lifetime. You might want to look into that, like the past life healing connected there. And if you feel like you would like more support with that, go to a practitioner who works with that, with those kind of topics. I want to pull a few more cards for you, though. All right. Spill tea is not the end of the world. Focusing more on the people that didn't get it than focusing on the people who got it. You know, like your idea of who you are. Let me pull one more. Thank you. We got... Wow, okay, let's see. 5 of Wands. A good coven lets every witch have a say. Yeah, we're talking, we're definitely talking about also the more severe punishments that are connected to you sharing your knowledge, sharing your truth in past lives. Like I said, like all the way to being like having your life ended for it. All the way from feeling the pain of the social rejection, the personal rejection amongst friends and family, all the way to completely like losing your life over it because it was not a good coven, you know, like not every witch was allowed to have a say. One more. One more. You'll never get anywhere if you keep standing still. And I feel like that's the crux for you in this lifetime, to move through or to move forward, to fully embody that new energy, that heart-centered energy, and express that heart-centered energy and share your knowledge with all of us. That is like the crux point for you to move through, so that you can share, that you can keep moving forward. That's the thing that's been holding you back massively, is the fear of being ridiculed, but it's also the fear of anticipating more severe punishment. And when I say that, by the way, if you are living in a country where it's not safe for you to verbally say these things and to express yourself in this way, I'm not saying to throw all caution to the wind and throw yourself into dangerous situations. That's not what I'm saying at all. There are always some ways to express yourself in a way that feels safe for you, but in a way that you share and express. You know, the internet is a vast, vast world. Even if you're just anonymously sharing something in a forum and you feel comfortable with sharing your ideas in this way, you know, there are lots of different ways to adjust that. Whatever is the right method for you, and whenever the time is right, you will know it. But regardless of whenever you feel like it's time for you to step out and share, that kind of pain that's connected to it within you is the thing that needs to be addressed and healed first. You know, the stepping out and sharing and speaking up is something that comes at a later point. And you never know how your life will already start to shift and change and adjust when you heal that deep wound within yourself with the self-expression. Because remember what I shared with the nail, the rusty nail, and the kind of frequency around it? When that rusty nail is dissolved and removed, then there's only the heart-centered energy left. So you will draw in people who are resonating with that, who are mirroring that kind of energy back to you. So you will automatically be in a space that is more safe for you. Okay. I feel like pulling one final card for you. Oh, by the way, and bottom deck energy, I want to show you, is 20 with Judgment. All the signs say you are exactly where you are supposed to be. And I'm going to pull one final card for you. Final card for pile number 3 is to send them off into the journey of embodying more of that new light energy. One card, please. I got, yo, that's too many. That's too many. What do we got? Okay, I'm not taking all of these. What do we got here? Okay, fine. Fine, I'll take the 4. I'll take the 4. We don't have to talk about it. We got companionship coming up first. When you fully bless and embrace your aloneness, you're ready for the ones who are meant to be with you. May I welcome the solitude, knowing it will open the way for all healthy relationships. I feel like some of you watched multiple piles. I didn't even talk about Pluto and Jupiter, did I? I completely breezed past that. I'm going to tie them in a moment. Don't worry about that. We got the card of change. Don't scare yourself with the next 40 steps. All you need is that one next action. You can say to love, just show me the first step and change me into one who can take it. That's exactly what I was referring to when I spoke about that pain that's at the center. And not already thinking about, like stepping out and sharing with everybody. That's like, that's like several steps down the road. We got the card of truth. When everything is done as an offering, even the act of speaking, you get shown when to talk and when to be silent. Your words come from silence and not fear. You do the talking, dear Lord. Take me over and speak through me. And I feel like that's significant. Because when you've been sharing about this part in the past, you have been coming from a place of fear because subconsciously there is this, like this energetic wound underneath the surface. And then we got self-love. Show me how to love myself. Show me how to take care of the inner child. Show me how to be kind within. When you step into self-forgiveness, as so much can change on the outside. And let me wrap your reading up in a pretty little bow. Because while I have not actively addressed these 2 cards, we have been speaking about these 2 cards all the time. Because the Pluto card speaks about the underworld. It speaks about the things that are underneath the surface, the power struggles that keep us in this place of being in the underworld, which, connected to your reading, is talking about this wound in the throat that we touched upon. It's like the underlying force that guides your actions and that guides your energy and your frequency. And this is also what you have witnessed in the places, or when this is also what you have witnessed when you've been in places that were not built from heart-centered frequency. Anytime that you've been to such a place, like the disparity, the difference between these 2 places was so big that you were really able to learn the differences and all of the subtleties, all of the subtle nuances about what prevents a society or what prevents a person from being in the heart-centered energy. You know, it's the big contrast that you learned. And with Jupiter, this card speaks all about the expansion. And I feel like, again, this is what we've been speaking about throughout the entire reading, which is why I feel like I wasn't actually drawn to talk about these two individually. Because we got the expansion of the throat chakra, we got the expansion of taking care of your own energy and the self-love that you see here, right? Cultivating your energy, cultivating your frequency, which in turn will allow you to embody more of that heart-focused energy and expand into holding the most amount of starseed energy that you can in this lifetime while you're present and fully conscious on planet Earth. Okay, I think I did wrap it up in a little bow now. So, my loves, I'm going to let you know and remind you to please hop over to a star's channel to check out his part of the reading and how you can embody more light. And I'm also leaving you with another offering coming, I'm hoping, this week, which will be a 30-minute Reiki treatment to support you in this process of flushing all of these energies out and, embodying more of that light energy. If it's out already, you'll find it in the pinned comment down below and probably also in the description box. And that's all I have for you. Thank you for allowing me to read your energy, and have a beautiful rest of your day, and I hope I see you soon again. Bye.